Good morning, and thank you for joining us for the third Basketball Coaches Biweekly video conference of the 2022-2023 Mideastern Athletic Conference season. I am Jeff Cunningham. I'm the Director of Strategic Communications for the MEAC, and I will be the moderator for this morning's proceedings. As a reminder, the MEAC will hold these video conferences every other Wednesday for the remainder of the regular season, with 5 sessions in all as conference play unfolds and we inch ever closer to the 2023 MEAC Basketball Tournament. This year's tournament will once again be at the Norfolk Scope Arena in Norfolk, Virginia, Wednesday through Saturday, March 8th through 11th. For more information and to purchase tickets, please visit meachoops.com. For the women, Morgan State is a perfect 6-0 in conference play, with victories already against the likes of Norfolk State and defending champion Howard, while the Spartans are 5-1 and the Bison are close behind at 5-2. Before we begin, please note today's procedures. Each institution's men's and women's head coach will join us for a 10-minute question and answer session, starting with a few questions from the conference office. We will then turn it over to the media to ask questions, and if you have a question for a coach, we ask that you please use the raise hand feature on your Zoom platform, and I will introduce you when it's your turn. At that time, please state your name and affiliation before asking your question. To begin this morning's proceedings, we are joined by Coppin State head women's coach Jermaine Woods and men's head coach Juan Dixon. The Coppin State women have been idle for the past week due to COVID-19 protocols, while the Eagle men are 1-6 through the first half of the conference season. Good morning, coaches. Thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
Good morning. Can you hear me clearly, Jeff?
Yes.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Coach Woods, we'll start with you. First and foremost, how's the health of your team, and how have you dealt with the fact that between COVID protocols on a number of occasions, your schedule hasn't really gotten off the ground like a lot of other teams?
Yeah. We played 3 or 4 games, I believe, in conference. So so we've missed a few weekends of a basketball. Excited to get back. Hopefully we'll have 8 to play this weekend coming up. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more, but we still have a few going through a little bit. And our entire coaching staff got wiped out as well. So we weren't able to really have anybody practice, any coaches around until yesterday. So I get back today. So just trying to find the groove and get back into it and prepare for a tough weekend against South Carolina State Saturday and Delaware State, who we rescheduled for Monday. So yesterday was our first day really back in the gym, and hopefully we can get in some kind of condition and get the young ladies back from COVID. They're not back yet though. So praying for a better day today.
You have a weird quirk in the schedule because of that. You play South Carolina State at home this weekend, and then next weekend you get back to your normal schedule. You go down and play them there. So it's not often you get the same opponent twice in the span of 2 weeks.
Yeah, we did the same thing last year with them because of COVID-related issues as well. It's not ideal, but we just want to schedule the games that we can and try to get some games in. And we haven't, like you said, I look at the records and I'm like, dang, like what's going on? But we haven't played a few games. So looking forward to this weekend just to get back on the court and competing. And we hit the road next weekend and go down to South Carolina State. That's the long trip, and then down to Central for a tough game. But we just want to compete. We just want to get healthy and compete. We'll have 8 this weekend, and we'll have a full roster probably by next Tuesday or Wednesday, hopefully, when everybody gets out of protocol. But we're going to compete with 7. We were going to hit it. We had 7. We were ready to go last weekend, and then boom, the whole entire coaching staff got wiped out. Shout out to EC Hill, who told me to go get tested, and I did. And I came back positive the same day I talked to her. So we didn't have enough players or a coach or a coaching staff, period. So we're excited to get back. No excuses. If we have 7, we're going to play as long as we got a coach, and we're going to get out there and we're going to roll and compete.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad things are getting better for you and your program.
Thank you.
Uh, Coach Dixon, it's been a bit of a rough start to conference play for you. What's the thing that's holding your program back from turning some of those L's into W's? And what adjustments can you make as you enter the season's final month?
First of all, I'm at a doctor's appointment, so if I cut out, I have bad service. But to answer your question, um, we're playing solid basketball. We're not executing as well defensively. Offensively has been a struggle. But the last three games, I'm pretty encouraged with the start. Encouraged with the start of our games. I'm confident that we can get this thing turned around. We never had a team. This late in the season that that don't quite understand our concepts on the defensive end, and offensively, we just have to continue to play the game the right way. But I'm confident the second half of the season we could get this thing turned around. We have 11 days to prepare for our next game since our last game, and it's just taking a practice at a time, and hopefully we can continue to get better.
You kind of touched on my second question. It's not often that you have bye weeks in conference play in college basketball, but we do here in the Mideastern Athletic Conference. Do you think this bye week is a benefit for your program?
Definitely a benefit for our program. We need it. We need the practice time. We need to get healthy, and that's what we're dealing with, some health issues. We had our starting five, Justin Winston, out for all of MEAC so far. Ninja Tark has been dealing with a small fracture in his hand. Justin Steers has been dealing with some knee injuries. So we're just not as healthy as we need to be. But we're going to use this time to get healthy and simply get better on both ends of the floor, which I'm confident that we're going to do. We're going to make some slight adjustments. Hopefully our guys can adapt, and we're going to coach them hard, and hopefully we can have a better second half of the season.
Thank you, coaches. Those conclude all of my questions. We will now open it up for questions from the media. If you have a question for either Coach Woods or Coach Dixon, please use the raised hand feature on your Zoom profile, and please state your name and affiliation when you are called upon. Once again, seeking questions for either Coach Woods or Coach Dixon of Coppin State. Coach Woods, I do have one more question for you, and it's sort of similar to one of the questions I asked Coach Dixon. What's the biggest thing you look for from your program as you enter the final month of the regular season with, in theory, half your conference slate already in the books?
Well, just some consistency, trying to find that 7 or 8 that's going to come in and be consistent and play, and that you can depend on every night. Like you said, we're only 4 conference games in, so this weekend to let us know it'll get us almost halfway through. We haven't played three of the teams in the conference yet, so we're just looking forward to some consistency, man. I just got to find the right 7 or 8 players that can come out every night, and we can depend on them night in and night out. And we're still searching for that. We got Najee back. Not sure when Jed's going to return. So we're going to roll with who we have and just figure out that 7 or 8. You want to be playing 8 if you consistently and getting the things out of them that you need from them every single night. So we're grinding, man, and this week will tell a lot for us, and hopefully we can find that group and get them moving and stack some wins up.
Coach Dixon, more broadly, looking at the conference race so far this year, you've got a team tied for the top in Maryland Eastern Shore that I don't think a lot of people expected to be there. And this past weekend, you saw Delaware State go up to Baltimore or host Morgan State, who had been hot at the beginning of the season, and defeat them. So what's the overall landscape of the conference race as we go into February?
To be honest with you, man, it's about who's playing the best basketball in March. That's what it's about. Yes, every team wants to be playing good basketball right now. Every team wants to be at the top of the conference. But what it comes down to, Jeff, is only one team from our conference is going to the NCAA tournament. And our goal right now as a staff is to prepare our young men best to be playing the best basketball come March 8th. That's what it's about. That's what it comes down to. And I'm confident that we can get it turned around. Yes, it's been a rough start, but it's basketball, it happens. And we just got to be ready to strike back.
We have a question from Stephen Gaither.
Hey, good morning, guys. This goes to Coach Dixon. In Jeff's last question, you just answered. Obviously, March matters, but before you get to tournament, before you get to March, the seeding matters. The seeding is a factor as well. I know you guys last year, you weren't able to play as well as you wanted to in the conference play due to injuries and kind of, the seeding wasn't necessarily where you wanted. Obviously, it's win or go home, but just the importance of seeding to you guys, is that something that you're mindful of, but for the guys as well, just knowing that they're setting yourself up for the best success you could have as you get ready for the tournament.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think it's pretty much even across the board. I think everyone is competing at a high level week in and week out. Yes, of course, you want a high seed, but you still gonna have to go through tough opponents. Like you alluded to, we were the 7th seed last year, made it to the conference championship. So to be honest with you, to me, the competitor I am, it matters, but it really doesn't matter because going into conference season, yes, you want to have a chance to win the conference regular season, but everyone's ultimate goal as the head coach, as coaching, as extended staff, assistant coaches, what have you, players, is to be playing the best basketball come out tournament time and have an opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament. So am I confident that we can do that? Yes. Is it going to take a lot of hard work? Absolutely. Are our guys still very confident? Yes. And I'm very confident. So we'll make some adjustments. We'll figure it out. We'll get healthy. Like I said, we're missing some huge pieces in Justin Winston, Isaiah Gross dealing with some injuries. And then Justin Steers and Ninda Tart they've been a shell of themselves because of some injuries that they've been dealing with, but they've been playing through it. So we're not making excuses, but we do need to get healthy, and we will.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, Coach Woods, Coach Dixon, we thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for your time. Best of health and good luck this weekend.
Hey, thank you, Jeff.
always.
I'm sorry, man. I'm in a doctor's appointment. I apologize for my camera not being on. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Thank
Jeff.
you, Coach. Coppin State women will make up their games against South Carolina State on Saturday and Delaware State on Monday. And the Coppin State men are idle until Saturday, February 11th, when they hit the road to take on South Carolina State. As we continue the 2022-23 MEAC Basketball Coaches Biweekly Video Conference, we are now joined by Delaware State head women's coach E.C. Hill and head men's coach Stan Waterman. The Delaware State women are 2-4 in league play so far this season, while the Hornet men had quite the week this past weekend, defeating previously first place Morgan State at home and then going on the road to defeat Coppin State. Good morning, coaches. Thank you for joining us this morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. We're good. Thank you.
Morning. Coach Hill, we'll start with you. You had a tough outing in your last game against first place Morgan State. You have a makeup game coming up this week against Coppin State. What's the state of your program as the regular season goes into its final month?
Pretty much like what Juan Dixon just said. We're trying to get some injuries taken care of. We have some players out. So right now we're just trying to get healthy. And this bye week that we have this week, we really need that. So we can get everybody back in place. We're playing with some limited players. So right now we just got to get healthy and try to finish the conference strong.
Coach Waterman, the last couple times we've talked, you've preached about the process of what your team's doing and how close you feel like your team is. And then you go out and you beat Morgan State, who had opened the conference with 4 straight wins. And then you go on the road and you beat Coppin State. What do those 2 wins say about your program?
Well, I think it says again that we are trending in the right direction and we're getting better every time out. As I mentioned to you in previous conversations, we felt like we were getting close. And obviously to have a breakthrough and get the results and get a few wins does wonders for your confidence, and it keeps us going.
Coach Hill, I know last season was a struggle for the program. Nobody likes to go winless for the entire season. And record-wise, things don't look a whole lot better this year, but there is progress there. There are wins in the win column, but aside from just winning games, what's the biggest difference from year one to year two in your mind right now?
Oh, it's night and day. Yes, the wins haven't piled up as I want, but you can see if you look at my team compared to last year, no disrespect to the ladies that was here in this past, but it's a total different environment, total different group. We went in areas off the court as well. Like our GPA overall was 3.5 this past semester. So the things are not we might not be winning in winning column, but we also winning overall. The progress of the program is huge, and it's night and day, and I'm happy about that.
Coach Waterman, this is a question I asked Coach Dixon when he was on. Looking at the state of the conference race, you've got a surprise first place team in Maryland Eastern Shore. You had Morgan State making a run at the beginning of the season. And then you go out and you beat that team this past weekend. We know March is March, but February is shaping up to look pretty interesting as well.
It is, and I think Juan gave you a perfect answer in terms of, you know, the competitive play that's in this league, and what it's going to boil down to, as he said, is who's playing the best basketball come tournament time. I don't think that there's a whole lot of difference for, you know, when you look across the league on any given night. Anybody's capable, and we've seen that so far. So it's shaping up to be an exciting regular season, which certainly will mean that the MEAC tournament will be really, really exciting. And matchups will be key, and seedings will be key. And so that means that the regular season is pretty important too, as you try to play and position yourself.
And you got a little bit of a strange quirk in the schedule this weekend. You go up to New Jersey, you play in the Legacy Classic, you play Morgan State again, but it's not a conference game. So
yeah, it's pretty interesting and exciting at the same time. I mean, you're hearing all the other coaches are talking about, you know, having this sort of a bye week and a chance to get healthy and get rested and get a few extra practices in and to clean up some things. We would love to do that, but also the opportunity to participate and represent our university in the Legacy Classic is huge. You know, it's Black History Month, it's February, an opportunity again to be one of 4 schools who get to participate in this thing. Nationally televised game on TNT. It'll be great exposure for us, for our program, for the university. And while we would love to have that bye week, we are really super excited to be involved and be a part of that. A little strange playing a conference team, which means that we'll see those guys at least 3 times this year. And who knows the way the seedings might wind up for the tournament, maybe even a 4th time.
Coach Hill, you're also looking at a bye week that's no longer a bye week because you've got that makeup game on Monday against Coppin State. Were you looking forward to that bye week, or do you prefer the fact that you're keeping the rhythm of playing at least one game each week?
No, I'm looking forward to the bye week because, as I said before, we have a lot of some injuries that we need some rest time. So this gives us time to take care of those things and get back at it on Monday. So I'm happy to have a bye week.
And let me get your thoughts on the women's conference race. We're not seeing as many surprising results on the women's side as we are on the men to this point, but you got Morgan State, who's undefeated right now, and then it looks like almost anyone else's game from there. What's your thoughts on the race and Delaware State's part in it as we go into February?
Well, we're going to take care of our business. Again, I keep stressing how we got to get healthy, but the MEAC conference is really, really competitive. I mean, we just try to make sure that we go out and play hard every possession, every game, and compete. It's really competitive. Morgan State is really, really playing well right now. So, but any given night, anybody can win, and we just want to make sure we take care of our own faith about competing every possession, playing hard every game.
Coaches, those conclude all of my questions. We'll now open it up for questions from the media. If you have a question for either Coach Hill or Coach Waterman, please use the raise hand feature on your Zoom platform and state your name and affiliation when you are called upon. Again, we are looking for media questions for Coach Hill or Coach Waterman. We have a question from Stephen Gaither.
Good morning, coaches. This is for Coach Waterman. You know, you talk about the Legacy Classic. You know, it's a chance to promote not only the school but your program as well. Just talk about that platform for you guys as you're still trying to build your program and just get awareness out about your program in New Jersey and in the New York area.
Well, again, I think, the program, we are excited to be a part of it. When you think about the number of HBCUs across the country and that there are only 4 schools representing and participating, that's huge in itself. So we're honored to be selected as one of the schools to be able to participate. That's one. Then the competition. I mean, they're all good teams. We're going to get a chance to play another game. It'll be nationally televised. Great publicity for us, and an opportunity as we try to gain and build some respectability for our program and our university. I think it's huge. We're going to go up a day early. I mean, Michael B. Jordan and the Invesco, the companies who are the major sponsors, have done a really nice job of putting together a program. We will get up there a day early, have a chance to tour the Invesco facility and meet with some of their HR people and some of their execs, and have our kids have an opportunity to speak with them about financial responsibility and financial literacy. So as coaches mentioned, an opportunity to grow and win off the floor as well. Just a huge opportunity for us, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach Hill, Coach Waterman, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
The Delaware State men will compete in the Invesco QQQ Legacy Classic against Morgan State on Saturday in what, for records purposes, will be a non-conference game. Tip-off is set for 1 p.m. and the game will be televised live on TNT. The Hornet women will be on the road on Monday for a makeup game at Coppin State. We will now move to the nation's capital. We are now joined by Howard University head men's basketball coach Kenny Blakeney and associate head women's coach Brian Davis. The Bison men are 6-1 in league play, having won 5 straight, and they sit tied atop the MEAC standings with Maryland Eastern Shore, while the Bison women are also sitting at 5-2 in conference play and have won their last 3. Morning, coaches. Thank you for joining us this morning. How y'all doing?
Good. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Coach.
How you
Morning,
doing?
Coach. Good. Coach Davis, we'll start with you. You had a little bit of a rough start to conference play. You were 2-2 through your first 4 games, but you've won 3 in a row, and you're now sitting in 3rd place. You're well in the mix in the conference race. What's the difference been in this most recent stretch for you?
First of all, I want to just start with giving my condolences to North Carolina Central and their program, Coach Trish Stafford Odom. We send our condolences to them and their basketball family in this tough time they're going through. So, first of all, condolences to them from the Howard community. To answer your question, I think health has been a help, and then of course, as we're playing more through the MEAC season, I think that we just continue to get better, every day, and continue to improve each day, and work on our team and the things that we have to improve on, and those things have shown through the games that we played. And it's always good to play at home, and we've had great crowds at home. So we thank our Bison Nation for being there for us and supporting us through that time. But I just think it's just been us getting better every day and getting healthy.
Coach Blakeney, as I mentioned, you're on a 5-game winning streak through the first half of your conference schedule. You're tied for first place with Maryland Eastern Shore. When we did the first one of these things about a month ago, you lamented your team's lack of consistency. Has that improved, and where do you see your program right now?
Yeah, Jeff, it has. I think, I was looking at our schedule, looking forward at kind of like, how do I plan the rest of our season out a little bit and some things. And I had a chance to look back, and in the months of November and December, I want to say we played 10 or 11 games in about a 23-day spurt. And it just didn't allow us a time or opportunity to really practice. And I think that's been the biggest, difference in where we were and where we are now. We've had a chance to practice. But also, I think our young guys have done an amazing job of just growing and developing and wanting to I think take strides in understanding who they are as young men and where they wanted to be as people and young men moving towards men. We had, you know, Elijah Hawkins finished up the semester with a 3.75 GPA. He's a guy that has, was instrumental in where we are right now in our season, and so proud of him. He, had a chance to go to the White House about 10 days ago and be a part of a panel. Like, just our guys and who they are, I think, has really helped us become the team that we're growing to be right now, Jeff.
And to that point, the last time we talked, you had played on MLK Day. You talked about the importance of that. You talked about some of the activism your guys have been a part of. Recently, Monday night was Pride Night in Bird Gymnasium, and that's as far as we can tell, the Howard University is the only HBCU that's done that. Talk about the importance of an initiative like that for your program and your university.
Well, our university and our program is all about inclusion. And it's important to recognize and honor and celebrate diversity. And, we have so much diversity on our campus. It just doesn't come in the form of, being Black. But there's certainly a lot of different diversities that we celebrate and recognize. And I think being the first HBCU to have a Pride Night, to recognize it, to celebrate it, to honor it is, it's huge for, I think, our administration to understand and recognize that, but also to execute it and make it happen. So very, very proud of our university and our administration with Mr. Kerry Davis spearheading that mission.
Coach Davis, we know the ultimate goal is that trophy that we hand out on March 11th. That's a trophy you all won last year. You got to go to the NCAA tournament because of it. Obviously, you want to win as many games in February as you can. You get the best seeding you possibly can. So talk about the last month of the regular season for your program, and more specifically, the performance of Destiny Howell of late.
Yeah, Des has been great. She's been leading off the court as well. That's been a key for her. She's been setting the tone in practice. And so everybody else has followed suit. So we're very proud of Des and her development and her character and her basketball character moving forward. February is going to be important. We're gonna be on the road for four games straight, and games are hard to win on the road. So we're gonna have to be prepared. We're gonna have to be ready, and then moving to the MEAC tournament. You're just gonna have to have that 3-game winning streak. You got to win 3 games and be prepared each game, and the team that's playing the best is gonna win. The team that wants it more is gonna win it. We know our standard. Our standard is to win a championship, and so we don't shy away from that. And so that's our goal, and we're going to go for it.
Thank you, coaches. That concludes all my questions. We'll now open it up for questions from the media. If you have a question, please use your raise hand function. State your name and affiliation when called upon. We have a question from Stephen Gaither.
Good morning, coaches. Stephen Gaither from HBCU Game Day. I'll address this to both coaches. I know, you talked, just saw a little bit earlier, you guys have played 5 games at home in the month of January, and 3 of them were sellouts. For both coaches, just talk about the importance of having a packed house and what that does, for your programs in an atmosphere like what you guys have.
Coach PD, you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, it's special. The environments for our home games has been amazing. I mean, things have gone viral. I mean, you see the support, you feel the support. Of course, winning those games always helps. If you don't win, they're not coming. But they came in droves, and we appreciate the entire Bison community for coming out, and all the administration for helping get those people out, having the things for the games, giveaways, giving away free stuff. The band has been amazing. The cheerleaders, the Bisonettes, they've all been amazing with contributing to the atmosphere which has been at the Burr.
Stephen, how you doing, man? He's there.
Doing well, Coach. Doing well. Yeah, same question for you, and then I'll have a follow-up as well.
Yeah, I think certainly everything that Coach Brian talked about. But it's important to have the students out because it's part of their educational experience as well, right? And that's a huge part of building, I think, a school spirit and trying to ignite that spirit, trying to connect the athletic campus with the academic campus. When students leave and graduate and go on, having a connection with the athletic department, be it whatever sport it is, I think is really important. There's so much that can be gained from a university to be able to have opportunities to have a packed house, relationships that can, spread from being donors, potential donors to, opportunities for jobs in the future with the type of connections that you can make from potentially a student with a program, mentorship. So there's such a bigger picture to understanding the importance of having those type of sellout crowds. Ultimately, I look at it for the opportunity for students to have a well-rounded, great experience. So when they leave a place like Howard, they feel good about it and want to come back or send their kids back, talk to people about it in their community, to have them go to become a Bison. So it's a larger picture for me with that, because there's so many, I think, cost benefits that you can have with that relationship of fans and your program.
Right. And my follow-up is, it seems like you guys are also, making sure you guys are putting that out there as well. Is that a part of, part of your recruiting pitch as well? Having a crowd like that energized and doing that? How important is it that you brand, you guys' games as a place to be, not only for students, but just for, anyone that wants to catch a great game in the DC area?
PD?
Yeah, it's very important to reach out to the community and have them come and see your brand and see what you have to offer and see what you can offer the community and things like that. So I feel like it's very important for us to brand it appropriately, get as much reach out as we can via Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. That's the wave, and so we have to make sure that we brand it appropriately and make sure that the DMV comes out. I mean, you talk about millions of people that live in this area, and the Bird holds 2,300. Coach, like we can get 2,300 out of a few million to come. That's all we need.
Yeah, I honestly, Stephen, I don't even know what's going on with our social media probably until after it's out, and maybe 6 to 12 hours after that. I'm locked into, our team and locked into trying to be a great dad and a great husband. And those things for me are more important, being able to drive my daughter to school every day and have some time with my wife, and I know where, I do a lot of marketing and branding stuff with our program, but once we're kind of in the season, I kind of step away and step back from some of those things and trust that our team is putting out the right things and the right messages, I hope.
We have a question from Luke Williams.
Good afternoon, Coach. It's a good morning. I guess it's still morning.
Good morning.
This is about the Luke Williams from the Black College Sports page. What about this layoff? You guys are going to have, it looks like, almost 10 days, 11 days off. I know, Coach Blakeney, you've talked about having lack of time before, but you both on a roll, both winning streaks. Is this something you welcome, you need this time to prepare and get your guys and ladies ready to go down the stretch, or would you prefer to still be keeping your winning streaks going?
Yeah, I feel like this is that break's out of our control. We don't control the break. So we're just going to use our time wisely. We're going to make sure that people are getting treatment. People are focused on their academics, doing any type of makeup work that needs to be done before we hit the road. And so we're going to focus on other aspects of the program and then also focus internally. And I think it's important to self-scout. So we're going to do some self-scouting and see if we can make some corrections on some of the things that we don't do as well and try to correct those before we go into our next matchups.
Yeah, I think, Coach BD said it so well, and I couldn't say it any better. And that's why I think if there's any athletic directors looking for a head women's coach, Brian Davis would be an outstanding candidate. I mean that in all sincerity. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know what to do right now. I really don't. It's it's going to be 11 days before we play. And I have no idea what to do with our team right now. So,
That's a rare admission, Coach.
I really don't. It's I wish we could play, but you want to try to keep the momentum going, but I really don't know what to do right now. I've called around, I've tried to talk to people to ask their guidance and advice. And you get different answers with every call you make. So I'm trying not to be, I guess, emotional with the way that I want to move forward. And I'm trying to, I guess, be more sensitive with, how we move about for the next couple of weeks. But I want to be, honestly, I want to practice. I want to go, hard. I wish we could compete, and I don't want to lose any edge or momentum that we have. But, there's people telling me we need to, take days off and let guys heal and all of those kind of things. I have no idea. If you have any thoughts or ideas, please share, because I don't know.
That's funny, Coach. And I got a follow-up for you, Coach Blakeney. Hawkins and Settle, we kind of know. Who have been the key guys? I know in your stats, I see there your double-figure scores, but I've seen Dockery and a couple other guys. And how do you feel you're putting this program together and this team together in terms of what you want to do in the MEAC with Howard?
Yeah, I may sound like that dude that, but honestly, I a lot of stuff now, we have some kids that have been in the program for a number of years. We have some older guys that have unbelievable leadership quality, and I've given the program over to them. So during timeouts, I'm asking them, what do you guys think we should be doing? I get a lot of guidance and advice from them, and I've kind of stepped back a little bit, because in order for teams to be great, the teams that I've been around that have been, great teams or played on, they've all taken ownership of themselves. And I'm just so excited, because for the years that I've been here, I've been trying to find a group that will take ownership of the program. And this group has been the first group that we've had that has done that. So, it's allowed me now to just coach. I don't have to be the bad guy. I don't have to be the cheerleader. I don't have to be the rah-rah guy, because they bring their own energy. They bring their own juice every day, and they've done a great job of holding each other accountable and responsible, or, celebrating one another with things that have been good or not good. So that's been the biggest thing, is I've stepped back and I've just allowed those guys to kind of run the program.
Which one was bigger, beating Norfolk or beating Central?
I mean, my first year, we won 4 games. So after every game, we celebrate victories after every game. Victories are hard to come by, and I see Coach Waterman on this call, Coach Brodus, and Coach Crafton. These guys are unbelievable coaches and do a great job. And they will all tell you it's hard as heck to get a Division I win. So, the name on the front of the jersey doesn't matter as much as I think how we're performing or how we're playing as the Howard University basketball team. That's more concerning for us, but it's really hard to get wins. And, if it's, a team that is ranked 350th versus a team that's ranked 20th, we're going to be excited and happy because it's extremely challenging to win games.
Jeff, this is my last one for Coach Davis. Your women fell to the teams in front of you. Those were the biggest deficits that you all have lost by. Obviously, those are the two losses that you have. What did you take from those two games in terms of what you guys have to improve on to compete with the Norfolk and Morgan State?
Yeah, I think that those teams are motivated. They've been scratching the edge of being champions for the last couple of years, both of those programs. And so those coaching staffs and those players are extremely motivated. They're both teams are bringing back veteran players that have played a lot of basketball, that are very experienced. And so, we had to go through that same, we're on the other end of that spectrum. We won a championship. So our motivation has to come a little bit differently, from a different angle of wanting to do it again. And so sometimes that's difficult to get a team to do. And so, we're finding more motivation. Our players are becoming more focused, and hopefully down the road we can show that we're a better team down the road.
Thanks, coaches.
Thank you.
Coach Davis, Coach Blakeney, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest and good luck when your schedule resumes, not this Saturday, but next.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks, coaches. Howard is idle until Saturday, February 11th, when both programs hit the road for a doubleheader against Delaware State. We're now joined by head women's coach Fred Batchelor and head men's coach Jason Crafton from the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. The Hawk men are 6-1 in league play, tied for the conference lead with Howard, while the UMES women sit at 1-5 in conference play and are looking to get back in the win column. Good morning, coaches. Thank you for joining us today. How y'all doing?
Good morning, Jeff.
How you doing, Jeff?
Good. Coach Batchelor, we'll start with you. Last time we spoke, you mentioned you were pleased with how your team is playing, despite the fact that the ball wasn't falling through the net and the wins weren't coming. Do you still feel that way?
Actually, yes, I do, Jeff. This is a very strange year experience for me after all these years, getting new feelings, new experiences. This group, we struggled early on with putting the ball in the basket, and now we've kind of addressed that, and I've been able to score the ball fairly well. But it's just finding a way to win basketball games. But we're continuing to work. Extremely optimistic that things will turn around. And we're getting better every game, every time we step on the floor, even practice this morning. I'm really encouraged by the improvement that we're making, even though it doesn't show up in the wins and losses.
Coach Crafton, first time we talked, you mentioned right out the gate you were going to learn a lot about your team in the first half of your conference slate. Well, now you're tied for first place. You've won 4 in a row. What kind of team do you have as we go into February?
Hey, thanks so much for having us. Yeah, I think we have a team that's scrappy, that's gritty, and showed some carryover from non-conference. I think we won 9 out of our last 10 or something like that. So we went into the Norfolk State game, and I think that when we lost that game, we made it. I felt like our whole program put so much pressure on, the Norfolk State and what they've done and winning back-to-back championships instead of keeping the focus on us, which is something we've done a great job on all year. So I think we learned a lot from that loss and kept the focus on us and not getting caught up in too much of taking down upper level opponents that have done things in the league over the course of the last few years and just keeping the focus about us and that's been a good route for us, and we've been able to do some things. And we've got some veteran leadership. They do a great job helping lead our program. And whether we're making shots or not, we've been able to rely on our defense to give us a chance to win basketball games.
Talk about the play of Nathaniel Pollard. 2 back-to-back double-doubles, co-player of the week this week. How important has he been to what your program has done first month of conference play?
You know, I think about when we were in COVID and the season was canceled and we couldn't play, and he wasn't cleared. He was getting he had something going on where he had to see the training room and medical documents and stuff like that from his junior college hadn't come in, and he wasn't able to participate right away. And I'm remembering when we were doing a canceled season and he was in the weight room, not able to lift, but was cleaning, doing this, helping the cleanup people with the spray down during COVID and cleaning the weight room. And I was like, Nate, what are you doing? Get over here. You know, like let the people that are supposed to do that. He's just that, just to tell you like the type of guy he is. He's just a team guy that does whatever he needs to do for the team. And that has carried over into this. So if we need him to score, he's going to score. You know, every night we need him to rebound, and he goes out there and does that. So he's been so important because he's like the heart and soul. He's an undersized guy that plays so tough, takes charge, dives for loose balls. You know, is always around the 9 to 10 rebound mark per night. He's added the points. That's how he got player of the week. But whether he gets the points or not, we can always count on him for the defensive stuff, and we appreciate what he does for our program.
Coach Batchelor, Ariana Sewell has emerged the last several games. She's recorded at least one double-double, a couple 20-point efforts. Talk about her performances lately. You're on mute, Coach.
When we moved her out of the starting lineup, we had a conversation, and it's really a tribute to when kids trust the process, and taking her out of the starting lineup with the whole purpose of her playing more minutes and getting more opportunities. And ever since then, she's played really, really great. And it started with her accepting that, accepting the process, and working through it. And she's a great kid, and she's a pleasure to coach. And I'm happy to see her having a level of success after having a season injury last year. And it's taken her a couple months to get back to the type of play that she's capable of playing. So I'm happy for her, and it's only going to make us better as she continues to improve.
Thank you, coaches. Those conclude all my questions. We'll now open it up for questions from the media. We have a question from Luke Williams.
Good morning, coaches. Luke Williams from the Black College Sports page. Similar question that I asked the coaches from Howard. You all have a big layoff also, particularly Jason, with the way that your guys are playing, winning. I think I count 10 or 11 of 12. Well, let me start with you, Jason. What do you think about the layoff? I know you have a game against Regent coming up, but what do you think about this time of layoff? Is it good, or is it you rather keep playing through this period since you got guys in a good stretch?
I think it is what it is, and it's happening. So we got to try to control the narrative while it's happening, because it's not something that you can change. So, you know, I'm glad that we did place this non-conference game here. So in terms of tomorrow, so we can get a little run in. And then I do think we have some guys that have some injuries that need to get healthy. We'll take some time to kind of, you know, review what we do well, review where we can get better, you know, and take advantage of film session. We also just started school this week, so it'll be a great opportunity for us to transition back into classes and make sure we get a good start on that, so we're not behind, you know, in that regard. But, you know, it is what it is. So we're just going to try to be as creative as we possibly can, get extra lifts in, and try to go back into MEAC conference play next Saturday in a better physical shape, more healthy, you know, fresher, and on a good pace academically to not be behind. Because a lot of times you go into MEAC conference tournament and sometimes you're scrambling a little bit, and we're trying to make sure your kids are caught up in areas that they're going to miss stuff. So we'll take advantage of this opportunity to find ways to get ahead. I mean, ideally, do you want to keep playing? Yes, but there's nothing we can do about it. So we'll have to handle it the best we can.
Coach Fred?
For us, for a very young team, we're going to take advantage of the opportunity to get better. Like Coach said, with film study, getting acclimated to the new semester, and more importantly, just working to improve ourselves individually and collectively. And I think this will be a good time for us to do that. I like the way we are playing, even though we're coming up short, but I expect us to be playing better when we come back from the break.
And Coach Crafton, would you point to you talked about the Norfolk State game? Was the Temple game like a turning point for you guys, winning that game? Was that a turning point? Was there any point that you think kind of the light went off for your guys?
No, I think, in the summertime, we had conversations with our guys. We were picked dead last year in the country, and after not playing and won 11 games and, took a step. And we talked after that year, we were disappointed with where the season ended. We went into the conference tournament, with, wanting to keep playing. And so we were disappointed when we lost. So we kind of made a statement in the summertime that we wanted to be a team that didn't just, compete to win the conference championship, but was the type of team that could get to the NCAA tournament and win games. So we didn't just want to be happy to be there. So I don't think Temple was a turning point. I mean, we were disappointed every single game that we lost. So we don't approach those money games as like, hey, it's just a money game. We were disappointed when we didn't beat Duke. We were disappointed when we didn't beat Virginia. We were disappointed when we lost to Old Dominion, Charlotte, all those teams. We went in very frustrated that we hadn't won one. And wanted to go at Temple in a certain manner. And I think it was, I don't know if it was a turning point. I think it was just kind of like validating their work and their mindset that if we keep pushing that these things can happen.
And if you were to point to one thing that's been the key to winning 6 or 7 in the conference, you mentioned scrappy. I was at the Central game. I think that was probably as close to miracle or ideal finish for your guys. But what's the one thing? What's the one thing you would point to that is enables you to win at 6 out of 7?
I think resilience. It's a team that just doesn't stop. They don't stop coming at you. And doesn't matter if we're up, they're going to keep pushing to be up more. If we're down, they're going to try to find a way to get back in the game. So it's just a very resilient group. And, the way we're talking about my squad, I think you're going to be seeing the same thing happening with Coach Batchelor's team. That what they're doing right now is that this team is starting to get a real level of it. I think we're starting to mirror each other in some ways with some just, that their kids are younger than my kids. My kids are some veterans, but I love what they're doing as well. Their kids are scrapping down the stretch, and I think they're going to be very competitive down the stretch. But for our guys, I think they've just been really resilient and finding ways with veterans to pull wins out.
Thanks, coaches.
Brandon King.
Thank you. Good morning. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, this question is for Coach Batchelor. I wanted to talk about Miss Bannerman. She got conference honors for the second time of the season. She had a great game for the past week. What can you say about her level of play, and even as a freshman, what she brings to your ball club?
She's a great kid. Number one, she's a pleasure to coach. Today was really good after recognizing her for Rookie of the Week. We kind of really got into her a little bit with higher expectations. And the thing about it is she wants to step up to the challenge. That's what makes her, I think, an exceptional young lady. She's so young, very, very immature on the court right now, and can be a little erratic at times, but she wants to learn. She wants to get better. And she's a pleasure to coach. And I'm looking forward to, like I said in the report, the future is bright with this young lady in our program, and particularly in our backcourt. And she's gonna win a lot of basketball games for us, whether it be this year or in the future. But she's a kid, she's a winner, and I think she's a kid you can depend on.
It definitely looks like she has a bright future ahead of us. Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Coach Batchelor, Coach Crafton, thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate it. Get some rest and good luck once conference play resumes on the 11th.
Thanks, Jeff.
Maryland Eastern Shore's men will take on Regent University a week from today in a non-conference game, while the Hawk women are idle until Saturday, February 11th, when they play host to Norfolk State as part of a women's men's doubleheader. We will now make our second virtual trip to Baltimore this morning. We are now joined by Morgan State head women's coach Edward Davis and third-year head men's coach Kevin Broadus. Lady Bears are undefeated in MEAC play, sitting at 6-0 and alone in first place, while the Morgan State men are fourth in the league currently, sitting at 4-3. Good morning, coaches. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Coach Davis, there's been a couple times that we've talked to you, and you haven't been quite as happy with your team's performance as your record would indicate, but you're almost halfway through your conference schedule and you're undefeated. So how do you assess your team heading into February?
Very great question. Not to say that I'm not happy, but still not satisfied. And the reason is that I don't think our kids recognize what a lot of these coaches are talking about as far as how their kids are getting better. And that the second part of the season is very important because the motivation for a team like ours, who probably never been like that, they have to understand the motivation for the teams that are still coming at them. So there are little things that I'm still disappointed, especially on the defensive end, and trying to get the bench to be a little stronger in their production on the offensive side. So it's not that I'm not happy. It's just those areas of things that I know we have to be better in if we're going to succeed down the road.
Coach Broadus, you've hit a little bit of a rough patch after a hot start. Where do you think your team is, and what can you learn from the last couple games? You're on mute, Coach.
Am I muted? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, we're a work in progress. We're playing with 9 guys. The injury bug has hit us, and we're still playing hard, but we're just not playing smart. We hope to get better. We're working at it every day, and we're not making no excuses. We're just trying to play with what we have, and the guys are now responding. Now they know these are the guys we got to play with. So, we just hope for the best now.
Little quirk in your schedule. You play Delaware State on Saturday as part of the Legacy Classic. It's a conference opponent, but it's not a conference game. So talk about what you expect out of your team on Saturday.
Well, Delaware State beat us up at Delaware, and we're just looking now to see if we can get better as the season go on. We know what we're up against. We're going to see a lot of zone, and our guys have been prepared for it. But we just got to play smarter. That's the biggest thing for us. The IQ of the game. We got to make sure IQ steps up. That's a hell of a thing to grow on, but in today's basketball, if you don't play smart, you don't have a chance to win. So it's going to be a tough game for us.
Coach Davis, we've talked a lot about Janiyah Henson, a lot of the games she's had. We talked about Charlene Shepard, the presence that she is on both sides of the ball. Last time we talked, you mentioned Taylor Addison, and she's made you look good this past week with some of her performances, double-double on Monday. Talk about her.
Well, sometimes Taylor Addison becomes a kid that you really don't talk about. But if you had to compare on the men's side to anybody, especially in the pro ranks, she's like a Dennis Rodman. She's the kid that's going to go hard, dive on the floor, try to nickel and dime you in the post, try to get to the free throw line, and definitely try to be very, very active on the defensive end by trying to direct kids that don't know what they're doing all the time. Taylor's a great academic student. And a lot of people don't know that she was injured last year in the MEAC tournament and did not score a point. And unfortunately, she now is back from that injury and still a little bit of it, but still playing through it to the point that you might not know it. But I was very pleased with her production and what she's trying to do. And she's very active in SAC. So her leadership is extremely important on the court for us and also for the school. So she's an intricate part of what we do.
Thank you, coaches. Those conclude all my questions. We'll now open it up for questions from the media. We have a question from Luke Williams.
Hi, Luke Williams of the Black College Sports Page. Coach brought us the elephant in the room. You talked about these are who you have to play with. Is Malik Miller done for the season?
He's done for the year. Yes. He has an ACL injury, and kids like him are tough. Say, "Oh, coach, I can play," but I wouldn't risk that, for the rest of his career because he has a big career in front of him. So yes, he's done for the year.
So, given that, you said you realize you have to play with who you have. How much is that required? Who have you had to insert to kind of make up for his absence?
Well, we're hoping that Will Thomas can step up in his role, and we're going to do it by committee. Not just one person can fill in the shoes of Malik brought to this program. We have Colin, the big kid that we have, the 6'9". We have Ty Horner. I mean, it's going to be by committee. It's not one person, you know. And then the little guys, they got to step up. Believe it or not, they got to rebound better. So Malik didn't just bring points to us. He brought rebound, and he brought defense, and he brought a toughness, and he brought a high IQ to the game for us to be successful. We were very successful when we had him.
Absolutely. And for Coach Davis, I'm always first, Ed, concerned about your behavior on the sidelines. Are you keeping it under control?
I don't know why you would ask me that. I've never not been under control.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have any problems on the sideline, especially in the last 4 or 5 years. So what are you alluding to?
No, I just don't want you to blow gaskets, man. I know how your intensity. I know your intensity on the sideline.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But no, I mean, you know, I look at life now with, you know, I'm the last of the, I guess, old school coaches and trying to be a new school coach at the same time. And I've learned that there are points where, you know, just sit back and let things happen, you know, and not be as, let's say, rambunctious as I was in the earlier part of my career. So I agree with you on that point. So, but no, I think I'm doing a little better job now.
And what do you think? Obviously, having a 6-0 start is great. What's going to be the key to carrying this through to tournament time?
Well, for us, the big thing is we've got 3 players. You know, a lot of times people think we have a veteran team. We really don't. We've got 3 kids back. Outside of that, when you go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you have maybe 2 kids that didn't play. You have 1 kid that got hurt who did play last year. But the rest of those kids are new, and they're coming from programs, and even some of them are coming from losing programs. But we have to instill in them the importance of what the MEAC is about, and that nobody in this conference, in all the years I've been here, ever quits. And it doesn't matter where you are, first, second, third, fourth, they're coming, and they're not going to quit until the final thing is happening in Norfolk. So I do everything I can to keep their motivation up. And you know, our whole thing is developing skill sets, and the skill sets that are weak at this point, even in February, I've got to continue to try to get better, so as we can get a contribution from those kids if we happen to advance in the tournament.
Thanks, coaches.
All right.
Coach Davis, Coach Broadus, we thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate you joining us. Best of luck in your games this weekend and moving forward in the month of February.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oregon State's men will take on Delaware State in what, for records purposes, will be a non-conference game this Saturday in the Invesco QQQ Legacy Classic. Tip-off is set for 1 p.m. and the game will air live on TNT. The Lady Bears will play host to South Carolina State this coming Monday in a women's makeup game. We'll be a little closer to home now, as we're now joined by Norfolk State head women's coach Larry Vickers and head men's coach Robert Jones. Spartan women are 5-1 and sit in second place in the MEAC standings, and they've won 8 of their last 9. And after Saturday's home win over South Carolina State, and the Norfolk State men are sitting in third place at 5-2 in conference play. Good morning, coaches. Thank you for joining us today. How y'all doing?
Good morning. How you doing?
Morning. Coach Vickers, we'll start with you. Stumble against Morgan State aside, the first half of the conference schedule was very good to you. What are the keys in maintaining that level of play now that we're in February? You're on mute, Coach.
Oh, sorry about that. Well, now moving into February, you want to be playing your best basketball on both ends. I was just counting down the amount of practices that the seniors had, letting them know the amount of games that they have. So, we just want to kind of turn it up a notch once we kind of go into this final stretch.
Coach Jones, you won back-to-back home games. You had a win on national TV on Monday over North Carolina Central. You're on TV again this weekend. What's your outlook on the team as you head into the second half of your conference schedule?
Just tighten up some areas that we need to improve in. I think that things are going in the right direction, but just to play with a sense of urgency and not complacency. I think at times this year we were playing with complacency with the previous success that we've had, and now it's time to play with a sense of urgency if we want to capitalize on any of that success down the stretch for this season.
We've had a lot of coaches this morning talk about the bye week, so to speak, this weekend. You have a game on tap. You go up to Jersey and you play Hampton for the second time this season. Are you glad to have a game during what would otherwise be a break, or would you rather have the bye week?
I'll be honest with you, Jay. I'm not sure yet because I know last year we had the bye week and we just kind of rested. So I'm not sure if it's going to be better for us to keep playing or better for us to rest. But either way, the game is on our schedules. It's going to be an exciting game. There's another national TV game against a rival. So the guys are excited about the opportunity to keep playing. So, we're going to go up there and give it our best shot.
Coach Vickers, we've talked a lot about specific players throughout the season: Kira Wheeler, Deja Francis, Camille Downs. Is there an under the radar player, someone that we're not really paying attention to, who you think could have an impact this last month of the season?
Well, we're good when McCoy Diarra and Nia Fields are good. Our two sophomores, when they're good, we generally don't lose. So, going into the end of the year, we just want to kind of make sure that we're focusing them on the offense a little bit more, making sure that they're getting good looks.
You've had regular season success. You've gotten all the way to the championship game of the tournament, but haven't yet gotten over that hump. How do you balance the quest for a good seed in the tournament with winning the tournament? Or is it not a case of either or? Are you sitting there trying to do both?
Yeah, of course we're trying to do both. We've played pretty well basketball so far. 17-4. A lot of teams would love to have that record. But you don't get a championship for that. So we know what our goals are going into the end of this year. I guess what's that saying? Bridesmaid, never the bride. We've been the bridesmaid a bunch of times, but hopefully this is our year to kind of get over that hump and win a sole championship.
Coach Jones, you mentioned playing a rival again this weekend. It's the second time this season you're playing Hampton. You may not be conference rivals anymore, but that's still a pretty important game for your program, isn't it?
It's still an important game. Last year we played them twice as well, and we try to avoid what happened last year. Last year we beat them in the Chris Paul Classic, and then we lost to them at the buzzer at their place. So the second time around, hopefully we can get the sweep against them, and also it helps against the conference too, because it'll be a sweep now, not just against a rival, but also against a CAA opponent, which I know helps everybody. So we're gonna try to go out there and hopefully we can pull off a sweep against them this Saturday.
Thank you, coaches. That concludes all my questions. We'll now open it up for questions from the media. We have a question from Luke Williams.
Hey, Coach, it's Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. This first question is for Coach Jones. Coach, how surprising is it for you to see Howard and Mount Eastern Shore on top of the league? They obviously haven't been there in quite some time. What does that say about the job that those two coaches are doing?
It's great to have some parity in the league. I knew it was going to be a tough year this year. This is the first time in 2 years that we haven't been at the top of the league during the regular season. So it's a little strange place for us. But credit to those two programs for doing what they've done, and we look forward to seeing them again on the second half of the season.
Yeah, and how does regular season? I'm sure you go in with the objective to win the regular season. Is there any point at which you start to focus more on the tournament and making sure you're ready or peaking at the tournament as opposed to the regular season?
No, I think you use the regular season to get ready for the tournament. I think the regular season, these last couple of games is back 7. You want to start peaking so you can have some momentum going into the tournament. I don't think anybody looks past the regular season. The regular season is hard to win. I tell people all the time, the tournament you have to be good for 3 days. For the regular season, you have to be good for 3 months. So it's tough to win the regular season, and we're focused on trying to still win the regular season. I mean, we're one game out of first place right now, with obviously everybody got to see each other again. So we're looking forward to trying to win the regular season, and then we'll worry about the tournament when the tournament comes.
Which of those two losses, between the Morgan State loss or the Howard loss? I know the Howard loss was particularly with the ending. I don't want you to make any more comment on that. I want to get you into trouble. But
it's like double jeopardy. You can't get me twice.
Okay. So what about the loss at Morgan? What did you guys not do in the Morgan game?
What I said before about our complacency a little bit. I think that we had such a big win against Coppin the game before. We won by, I think, 31 points or whatever it was. And I think that we went into the Morgan game, taking that game a little bit for granted, because we've had a lot of success against Morgan recently. And coming off a 30-point win, the success that we had just wasn't good. And credit to Coach Brodus and the Morgan State program, they jumped on us. It was 23-6 at one point, and then we fought back, but we weren't able to get over the hump to win that game. So once again, credit to them, and we just got to learn lessons from that.
Is your team, Coach? I know you got veterans. I know you return a lot of guys. Is that the number one battle that you have right now, making them not complacent with what they've done over the past? You've mentioned that a couple of times. Is that, other than that, perhaps, what else is concerning for you right now?
That's the biggest concern, to be honest with you, Carl. It's just we deal with that day in and day out, because the thing is that a lot of these guys on the roster, between regular season championships and tournament championships, you got guys like Joe Bryant that got 5 championships total. Chris Ford has 5, Tyrese has 3. Guys who came here last year won the regular season and the tournament. So in their mind, they think that they can just turn it on when it's time to turn it on, and I'm trying to tell them that that's not possible to do. Only thing that goes on and off is a light switch, not human beings. So you got to be consistent in your effort and everything that you do. And I think we started to get that consistency. The game against the games over the weekend were good games for us. The game against Central was a good game because we had to battle some adversity with Joe and Chris Bankston basically not playing. That was the lowest that Joe played in 2 years, and we were still able to win that game. So it just showed the adversity that we can, and the perseverance that we have with the rest of the guys on the team. Because a lot of times people keying on Joe, and rightfully so, because he is the reigning player of the year, but then that leaves other guys who can make shots open, and we do have other threats besides Joe Bryant. So and those guys stepped up to the plate, and we were able to win that basketball game.
Got it, Coach. Thanks.
Coach Vickers, Coach Jones, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us this morning. Coach Jones, good luck this weekend. Coach Vickers, good luck when your schedule resumes next weekend.
All right, thanks.
Norfolk State will again square off against longtime rival Hampton on Saturday at 4 p.m. as part of the Invesco QQQ Legacy Classic, and that game will air live on TNT. Spartan women are idle until Saturday, February 11th, when they hit the road to take on Maryland Eastern Shore. We now head down to Durham, North Carolina. We're now joined by North Carolina Central head women's coach Tricia Stafford Odom and head men's coach Lavelle Moten. The Eagle men are 3-4 in conference play so far this season, 5th in the standings, while the NCCU women are 3-3 in conference play and sitting in 4th. The MEAC wants to say that our thoughts and our hearts are also with North Carolina Central this time, as the women's basketball program and the university mourn the loss of George Williams, an alum and football student athlete who had also been a volunteer coach with the women's program. Good morning, coaches. Thank you for joining us. Coach Stafford Odom, we'll start with you.
Thank you for that.
We'll start with you, Coach. Rather than ask you a basketball question, I'll just give you the floor to say whatever you want to say, whatever's on your mind.
That probably just made it more difficult for me, but I appreciate that. Thank you for the introduction. I'm literally just stepping into McDougal McLennan Arena for the first time, since we lost Coach. And the girls, I will face the girls today. We'll have some counselors here. And I walked in with Coach Williams's granddaughter. I stopped by the house to see his wife. She said, can I go to practice? Brushing her teeth, just getting out of the bed. So I couldn't say no. So I walked into McDougal this morning literally just now with a piece of Coach Williams. I had to grab his tag to come with us. He left an impact. But the best thing about it is he was in heaven coaching back in the coaching world with these young ladies, and he would have voted 1,000% for us to play, keep it pushing, and defend and rebound. So I'm excited about that.
To that point, you have a bye week this week. There was just something baked into the schedule already. Is that a blessing of sorts, or would you rather get these girls back onto the floor?
I want to get them back on the floor, but the most important thing right now is their mental health. The most important thing is that they feel like they can go out there with confidence and be empowered to continue to use their gifts. Thank God we had the bye week. I mean, if they didn't need it, we coaches did. That's for doggone sure. But hopefully we can get back up to Norfolk and get that competition with Norfolk State ASAP and then resume the season. And we'll do it, obviously, with respect to Coach Williams for the remainder of the season, with our same goals in mind.
Coach Moten, not only are you a coach with the North Carolina Central program, you're also an alum and a student athlete from North Carolina Central. So talk about George Williams from that perspective. You're on mute, Coach. We're having trouble hearing you, Coach Moten. It appears we are having technical difficulties with Lavelle Moten. Coach Moten, I think I just heard you.
I got you now, my man.
Okay.
Good.
Did you hear the question I posed to you?
I didn't. I'm sorry.
Okay. I mentioned that not only are you the head coach in North Carolina Central for men's basketball, you're also an alum and a former student athlete. So speak on George Williams from that perspective.
Man, it was I'm still struggling to find the words. What he meant to me personally, what he meant to athletics, what he meant to the Durham community and the city, and how he touched and inspired so many people along the way. We're still at a loss of words. To hear that tragic news right before we were going to play, that was a gut check, right? And it certainly puts basketball into its proper perspective. But over the next few days here, you'll see, across the social media waves, just how much he inspired not only people like myself, but young people, and mentored them, and just had a profound impact on their life. So he would truly, truly be missed. And I always called him Pops, right? And so I'm just trying to grasp the fact that when we were showing up to practice, we had our usual conversation as the women were leaving. And then the next day, we received the tragic news. So still struggling, honestly, to, get over that. And, prayers and condolences to his family.
Thank you, coaches. That concludes everything I have. We will now open it up for questions from the media. Anything for Coach Stafford Odom or Coach Moten? Luke Williams?
Yeah, Luke Williams from the Black College Sports page for both of you coaches. What's going to be the process of, I think, Coach Lavelle, you get it, it puts basketball in perspective. What are you going to have to do in terms of how you prepare your team going forward? Are you going to take some time off? What do you have to do?
Yeah, Luke, good morning, brother. We're actually, to be completely honest with you, we're actually seeking and receiving professional help, for our guys. Not only are we dealing with the Coach Williams issue, but we've had some tragic family things that's happened to a couple of our players. And, I respect them and I admire them for just being able to show up on the court. Right. And so we'll try to keep those things confidential, but this whole season we had to put basketball into its proper place, right? And I'm just loving on them right now, just telling them how proud I am because the effort is there, everything is there. Even the games that we lost, we're winning every single game, right? So we're just giving away games in the end, and we'll fix that. Any game that we lose is really on me, right? And so we'll fix that. But I'm just happy that our guys are going out there competing in spite of the present circumstances that they're enduring because it's tragic. Trust me, man, it's tragic, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone or what some of these guys are going through.
And Coach Stafford Odom, what was his role with your staff?
His role was first for me, to be that veteran mentor for me. Help me as I'm trying to help these players grow and my staff grow. Coach me up, coach. So to provide stability for me, reassurance for me, guidance in different ways of motivating players, but basically letting me know when I had to stand firm and stick to it, who I am, my philosophy, and what I wanted to do. But for these ladies, he's more than that. He's a father, he's a grandfather, like Coach Morgan said. He's Papa. They're blown away because of the immediate impact he made. So what he did for me was more on the defensive side. Those who know him in his championship years as an assistant and as a head coach, he was all about defense. So, and I feel like I'm letting him down when we don't defend. But I know that that's our inspiration, right? We do it for him and for ourselves, and it'll make us a better team. But the discipline of defense will help them as they mature and move out into the world for being better women, better mothers, sisters, and all those things. So it was just there for me. Calling me regularly. I'm checking on me. So he was there for me, and I'm finding out through countless phone calls. He's been there for years for so many people. In so many capacities. So great. And you asked about how we move forward, what's the time frame. There is no protocol for this thing called life. So a lot of times we're figuring it out as we go. God is testing our strength in many ways, and we'll be fine. We'll figure it out. But like Coach Moten also said, we realize from COVID, from everything, from the tragedies of life, from the realities of life, that we can prioritize things, and basketball is not always the top of the list.
Well, condolences from us at the Black College Sports Page and HBCU Game Day, for we know it's a tough situation to handle. Our condolences.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Coach Moten, Coach Stafford Odom, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate your words for Coach Williams. And the MEAC's thoughts and prayers are with your program and your university as you go through this.
Much appreciated, Jeff, and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, coaches. North Carolina Central is idle until Saturday, February 11th, when they welcome Morgan State to McClendon Arena for a men's and women's doubleheader. To wrap things up this morning, we now head to Orangeburg, South Carolina, where we are joined by our final coaches of the day. Head women's coach Tim Eatman and head men's coach Eric Martin of South Carolina State University. South Carolina State men are 0-7 in league play so far, and the women are 0-5. They have a couple of makeup games on tap for this weekend. Good morning, coaches. Thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Coach Eatman, we'll start with you. How does it feel to finally get back to the business of basketball? You're playing, traveling, practicing. You got a couple games this weekend on what was originally supposed to be a bye week.
Well, that feels awesome to be able to focus on what we love so much, and for our kids to be able to focus on that. Just trying to get excited about this journey that we're dealing with, and learn how to keep our kids focused on trying to get better each day. Looking forward to making up these games that we missed earlier on in the year, and we thank the league for having an opportunity and being proactive and thinking about things like this to have the the bye week where everyone can actually make up time. So we're excited about that. We're excited about coming back to Baltimore, to the Baltimore area, and we're looking forward to playing.
Coach Martin, you're halfway through your conference schedule. The win column isn't pretty, but what are you seeing on the floor? How do you assist your team through 7 league games?
Thanks for having me today. Obviously, you want to get wins. That's all that matters. I think the issue with my team right now is we are turning the ball over at an alarming rate. I think the last 2 games, maybe we were at 16 or 17, but the previous 4 games, we were turning the ball over 20 plus times, and you cannot sustain that in any league in America. And I'm talking about high school, JUCO, prep, NBA, overseas. You can't turn the ball over 20 times. And that's something that we're going to need to clean up over this break.
Coach Eatman, Nicole Gwynn was already somewhat of a known commodity because of what she did for South Carolina State last season, but a player that's emerging for you this year is, and I may be pronouncing this wrong, and if I do, I apologize, Sonia Lovely. Talk about her performance and her impact on your program this season.
That is such a great question. We just met with Lovely yesterday with our 3 captains, helping her to understand when much is given, much is required. And she's such a facilitator, and she's such a young person that loves to be unselfish. And we're trying to help her understand that in order for this team, maybe not for future teams, in order for this team, she has to be more assertive, and she has to take on more responsibility of scoring the basketball and rebounding the basketball. She's a great kid. She sent me a long text after our Howard game and saying, telling me that she hates that she's not doing all the things that I want her to do, but she wanted to let me know she's trying hard. And so we met with her and we talked to her about embracing the situation, embracing the moment, and understanding that this team will go through you in order for us to have success. And it was great to hear our captains talk to her about her responsibility. And it was great hearing her response to the things that we're asking of her to do. And for her to accept that role and to be accountable and feel the need for the team to be successful through her, I was really, really happy and impressed with her. With this whole team, it's about trying to help them understand how we win. We played at Howard, and we're down at the half by 15. We missed 9 free throws, which would put us down by 6. We gave up 3 open threes, which actually would have put us ahead. So helping them understand that the game within the game and not just focusing on the scoreboard is our biggest challenge. And that's what we're trying to get Lovely to understand as a person.
Coach Martin, you've got 3 players averaging double figures in scoring. Talk about some of the standout players from your perspective on the sidelines.
Well, obviously, those 3 players, Bashan, Rakeem, I can't think of the other one, but that's good that we're scoring, but we need to lock more in on defense. Of those 7 league games that we've played, 5 of them have been 6 points or less. And we're an accountability program, so those 5 losses are on me. I need to figure out how to finish better, figure out how to have the right combinations in there. That's on me. I won't make any excuses for that. And what I've said to my team is that finishing is more mental than anything else. Is this the right shot? Is this the right shot right now? Yeah, you're wide open for a 3, but how about one more? Or how about penetrating pitch? I just think sometimes kids are enamored with points, and I try to tell them on multiple occasions, it's not always about points. What else can you do to help the team? And defense, rebounding, those are the staples of the championship team. The North Dakota States, the North Carolina Central, those guys defend and they rebound. And, as a first-year coach, trying to model my program as those 2. They're great coaches and great teams to watch. I love watching their teams. That's how I want to model my team moving forward.
Thank you, coaches. That concludes all my questions. We'll now open it up for questions from the media. We have a question from Luke Williams.
Good morning, Coach. This is Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. My first question is for Coach Martin. What about Jordan Simpson? I know Jeff talked about your 3 double-figure scores, but it looks like he's been coming on. What do you say about his play?
As the season has gone on, Jordan's gotten better. And I think with most freshman players, it's a long season, longer than high school. So I think back probably the middle of December, maybe, he hit the wall. But when Jordan's good, we're good. He can shoot it. He can defend. He may have one of the highest basketball IQs on our team. And more than anything else, he's unselfish. He doesn't mind passing up a good shot for him for a great shot for others. And I think if some of the older guys were to take that idea, I think our team would be better off in the long run. But he's been playing great as of late.
He's a guy from right there in Orangeburg. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. OW High School. That's right. And we got him late. Obviously, I got in here late. And when I heard that he was available, I've seen film on him, and just a good kid. Comes from a great family. Dad is the athletic director at OW. His mom is heavily involved in his life. And I think that was one of those we stole. And the reality is, if I'm going to be what I want to be, I need to get all the talent that I can within a 50-mile radius of the city of Orangeburg.
I got you. Is he a guy that you're looking to start, or has he started recently, or you playing him off the bench?
Most of the season he's been off the bench, but I think as we get to the second round of games, I think it makes sense to start him. Jordan is someone who I hope, you never know with NIL and how these things work, but I hope that Jordan, he started his career, I hope he finished his career. He's a great reflection of the city of Orangeburg, always smiling, always in a good mood, just a really good teammate. And I hope that he stays with us all 4 years. Great kid, great kid.
Something to build on. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Coach Martin, Coach Eatman, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time. Best of luck this weekend and the rest of the season.
Thank you.
South Carolina State's women will be on the road for a pair of makeup games this weekend, at Coppin State on Saturday and at Morgan State on Monday. The Bulldog men are idle until Saturday, February 11th, when they play host to Coppin State. This concludes the third MEAC Basketball Coaches Biweekly Video Conference of the season. Our next Coaches Video Conference will be Wednesday, February 15th at 10 a.m. Before we end this call, the MEAC would like to thank its corporate partners, including the National Football League, ESPN, Coca-Cola, Cricket, Jostens, Town Bank, TIAA, the Army ROTC, Geico, and Nike. As always, for up-to-date news on MEAC men's and women's basketball and our other sponsored sports, please log on to MEACsports.com. You can also follow the MEAC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at MEAC Sports, and subscribe to the MEAC Digital Network on YouTube. Media, please be advised that the credential application for the 2023 MEAC Basketball Tournament will go live later today at MEACHoops.com. You have until Wednesday, March 1st, to submit your request. Once again, thank you for joining us for the 2022-23 MEAC Basketball Coaches Biweekly Video Conference. Have a great week.